March for Amplify Chicago, and tonight I'm here with Mags. Hi, how are you tonight?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Super excited to see you perform.
Thank you.
Could you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where are you from?
So I'm originally from Buffalo, New York. Was born and raised there, and I live in Los Angeles now. I've been there for about almost 4 years. And yeah, I just kind of grew up like playing at church. My dad was a pastor, so like I spent a lot of time just at church, just like doing that kind of shit and stuff.
Oh.
And like, yeah, and then I started kind of wanting to start playing in bands in my like mid to late teens. I started playing drums when I was like 12, so like drums are kind of like my main instrument, you know. And so I started playing in bands, and you know, at some point, you know, I played enough bands and kind of done the whole thing enough to where I was like, let me just try to do this on my own, you know what I'm saying? So, and that's where M.A.G.S came from. That was like 2014, I want to say.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Los Angeles weather's probably a lot different than what we have going on in Chicago right now.
It's a little different, yeah. Honestly, I mean, I think because I'm from Buffalo, it doesn't really bother me that much.
Yeah.
Los Angeles, the weather there is very nice, but it's like, it really is kind of the same thing every day, you know what I mean? So it's like you're out there and you're kind of praying for rain sometimes, and then it's like it rains and it's only for a few minutes. And it's like, oh, well, kind of miss it.
Yeah, I bet. What's the most interesting thing that's happened while you've been on this tour with the Happy Fit so far?
The most
Anything
interesting
crazy?
thing?
Yeah.
Man, I wish I could pick one thing. You know what I
There's
mean?
a lot.
There's a lot of things that have happened, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to think. A lot of it is kind of like a blur, realistically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the days definitely kind of blur together. But I would say, well, Robbie, you have any any thoughts on that?
The most interesting thing that's happened?
Yeah.
Damn, that's a question and a half. I mean, playing New York was pretty sick.
Yeah, I guess in terms of like just like a thing that happened, like we played a sold out show in New York City.
Oh, wow.
I think it was this past Sunday, and it was one of those like kind of life milestone kind of moments, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, like this is like the first time I've ever played to this many people in this kind of room, and like, you know, we killed it kind of, you know what I mean? So it was like, it was very
Awesome.
like humbling to like be there and get to do that.
That's wonderful. Have you guys had any time, I know you're obviously really busy, but to do anything fun in Chicago or go around the city and explore?
We went to Chicago Music Exchange this morning.
Oh, fun.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, I've been following their Instagram for a whole bunch of years now, so it was cool to actually go there and like see it.
Yeah, I bet. So right now you have 2 albums out, the self-titled one from 2017 and your most recent one, Say Things That Matter.
Right.
So did you notice any differences between the processes of like writing and recording your first album with your most recent one? Like,
yeah, absolutely. I think with the first album, I was very much just in this mentality of like, I'm just gonna record these songs that I wrote. You know what I mean? And it was a little more like haphazard, you know what I mean? I was kind of just figuring it out as I went. I didn't really have a lot of direction, you know, and I think a lot of those songs ended up like coming together really nicely, but I didn't really put a lot of energy into them. I was kind of just made the songs, you know what I mean? I did that one in a studio. I recorded all the instruments at the studio and took it back to my house and did all the vocals and mixed it and everything. And then just kind of put it out, you know what I mean? With this album, with Say Things That Matter, it was more like I knew I wanted to make like an album. I wanted to do like a whole kind of body of work, you know, and you know, I spent a lot of time on like the sequencing and making sure each song kind of flowed into the other, and you know, even down to the artwork and all the visuals that went with it. It was a much bigger kind of undertaking versus, you know, the LP where I was, like I said, just kind of making songs. This was like, let me make an album, let me kind of put my best work out, essentially, you know. You're on fire after I'm
inspired to write music or work on new things?
When I'm in the shower.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but usually when I'm in the shower, I have a lot of my best ideas.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought maybe at one point it's because I'm a Cancer, so like a lot
Oh.
of my the water rushing over
Yeah.
me. I just like maybe it's something with that, you know. But like, it's always been that way, you know. In the shower, sometimes in the car, sometimes when I'm, you know, just like I actually came up with the name for the album when I was like taking a shit. I was just like, oh yeah, say things that matter. I was like, oh, I gotta write that down, like straight up. So you know, but I don't know. Yeah, I find inspiration in a lot of things, but shower is kind of the main place.
Yeah. A lot of time just to like be by yourself and reflect.
Absolutely.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Okay. This is kind of a very like deep question.
Hit me.
Okay. Describe the meaning behind one of your songs. It can be any of them. That one may not pick up when they first listen to it.
Okay. So the song, the third song I'm on, Say Things, is called Choked Out.
Mm-hmm.
And I originally wrote that song when I was like in the middle of a breakup, right? And I think that's where the main hook of the song, I don't want to love you anymore, like that part is kind of the refrain that we keep coming back to. And I wrote that because I was frustrated because like, you know, I did love that person, but I also felt like I couldn't be with them, you know, for a number of reasons, you know, and I felt like it was kind of this frustrating in between place to be at, you know. And so the rest of the song, I'm kind of just talking about like my thoughts, you know, and like how I feel. And after I finished the song and we decided we were going to make a video for it, I started to kind of rethink what the song was actually about, you know, because like I said before, it was about this other person and my thoughts about this other person and my feelings versus like when I wanted to start making the visuals, I was like, well, I don't want to do a video that is about this song. I want to do a video that's about something that just different, I guess, you know? So I wanted to make the video about like self-love, you know? So I took the narrative of the song and kind of like instead of saying it to another person, I kind of looked in the mirror, you know what I mean, and said it to myself, and it's like, I don't want to love you anymore. It's like, I'm talking to myself. It's like, well, why not? You know what I mean? So it became this sort of like deeper meaning through kind of turning it back on myself and saying all these things to myself, and it's like, well, I have these sharp feelings and these emotions and within me, and I need to resolve them, you know? So all of the lyrics can be taken in a totally different context when you make it about yourself, you know, versus just kind of dumping them on someone else.
Just a little bit louder. This time, say, I don't wanna love you anymore. Go! I don't wanna love you anymore. So take me out. Yeah, if you know what.
Knowing where you are now, if you could travel back in time to tell your younger self anything, what would you say to them?
You know, it's funny. I actually have my background on my phone is me.
Oh, how
Right?
cute!
So that's me when I was like probably 11,
That's
and
adorable.
I whenever I open my phone, I see my dumb little face. You know what I mean? And I think about like that kid and like what he wanted and what he thought he knew. You know, and what I know now, and I'm just like, you know, I don't know that I have much advice. I think I would probably just give that kid a hug. You know what I mean? And just be like, you know what? Like everything you're feeling now, it literally gets so much better, you know, and just keep believing in yourself.
1, 2, 3, jump!
Did you even like know from a young age you wanted to do something in music, or was that something you just kind of discovered?
I think by the time I was like 15 or 16, I knew I wanted to be a musician. You know, I didn't know in what capacity. I knew I wanted to be in a band, but I never really thought I was gonna be like the front man or like write my own songs. You know, I just wanted to be in a band or play music. But yeah, at that age, I was more so interested in like skateboarding and
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you know, like I was really into comic books and stuff like that. So like I had some other interests that got eventually eclipsed by music.
Who would you say your like biggest musical influences are?
Yeah, you know, I get this question a lot, and I think it's like it's one of those things where I think as you grow as an artist, you stop being influenced by other artists, you know, because, you know, I guess I can speak for myself. It's like I am always trying to do something different than what I did before, you know, and so my influences are basically just the things that I absorb, the things that I like, you know, or the things that I think are interesting. You know, I'm not ever looking at like one particular artist or like anyone else's body of work and being like, I need to take pieces of that or I want to do that, you know. And sometimes that does happen, you know, it's just natural to see art and appreciate it and internalize it. But I think when I am, you know, making my own stuff or like kind of moving through my own path, it's like I'm influenced by the things that affect me, you know. And sometimes it's other people's stuff, and sometimes it's literally just like a tree, you know, or like the way that like, you know, the wind sounds on a certain day, you know what I mean? It's like it just kind of depends.
Oh, interesting. What is your favorite song to play and live, and why is that your favorite song?
So on this run, like we've been that song Choked Out I was talking about earlier, I think that's been my favorite just because it's I'm not playing guitar on that song. So yeah, this is like the first time that I've had a full band. I used to just have a 3-piece band, and I would play guitar and sing for every song. And with this one, I've got a guitarist. So when we get to Choked Out, I put the guitar down and I can just kind of sing and kind of just like dance or whatever version of dancing I do, and interact with the crowd. You know, so I think for me like it's pretty new. It's pretty new for me. So I like to experiment and like just see how far I can go with that, you know what I mean? Yeah.
To wrap us up, give us an elevator pitch on why people should listen to your music.
You should listen to my music if you spend a lot of time like in your head like thinking about like fake scenarios, you know, or like wishing things were different. You know, you should also listen to my music if you're introverted in general, because I think the things that I have to say appeal especially to people who are like introspective and like to look within, you know. I would say that I'm kind of on the border where I like to call myself an introvert, but I'm very extroverted as well, you know. And I think the things that I have to say are, realistically, I think the things I have to say are important, you know, and the way that I say them in my music, I think is very appealing to people because it's about the human experience and how we're all connected and how we're all kind of just doing the same thing, and we all are like, we're all different in it, but like it's all the human experience, you know. So yeah, I don't know, it's not actually that deep, but I think that there's a lot of love in what I do. So if that's what you're looking for, then like it's there.
Well, thank you so much for sitting down and talking with us today.
Absolutely.
Good luck.
Thank you.